Good morning, YouTubers. Lovely day today. It's Tuesday the 31st of May and the sun is shining and it's going to be a nice day. I've had a few comments from a video I put up yesterday by my handheld TRC 1001 CB transceiver, and I've had one comment from Hippie Raver Rocker who talks about his FRS and MRS radios, and sort of asking about range and what sort of range you get from them. The range can vary from all these radios, as you can imagine. I started off with CB, and then, like everyone else, I've dabbled a bit with PMR. And typically, the sort of PMR radio that I use from time to time is these. By the tail, upside down, can't see that. These radios, fantastic bit of kit. Range-wise, I mean, they're only giving out, I think it's 500 milliwatts, so it's sort of only half a watt. And with a fixed antenna, which obviously you're not supposed to modify in any way, they reckon you can get up to sort of 8 kilometres with them. Realistically, you're not going to get that range because of various conditions. If you're in an open area with no obstructions, and you're in sight of the person, then I'm sure you can get a very good range. But realistically, if you've got buildings and houses and trees and such like in the way, you're not going to get that sort of range. But all the same, out of all the PMR radios I've had, and I've had quite a few different types and models and what have you, these are by far the better ones I've ever had. These come as a really good kit. Now, I got this off eBay, off I think it's one of these seconds factory shop type stores. Absolutely nothing wrong with it at all. 2 handheld radios. It comes with the little desktop charger for the both. 2 earpiece and microphones. Batteries, car chargers, so you can charge these up independently from a car if you're not close by to a mains adapter. And range-wise, all I can say is I've not tried it for range, but when I have used them, going camping and fishing and such like, they've always worked really, really well. So I think they're very good. Just close that box up, move those out of the way. Here's one, same model. This one's been modified to have a BNC connector on the top. Now, obviously, you're not supposed to modify the radios and transmit with them. This one is purely for receiving. I do not transmit on this radio, as that would be illegal. However, this enables you then to connect coaxial cable to your BNC and then make your own dipole aerials and such like. And it's amazing what you can actually pick up on these. If you were to transmit with this modified aerial, like a dipole, then obviously that wouldn't be right, you're not allowed to do that, but it does actually help receive. But if you would transmit it, it would transmit it for the greater distance. And then to be able to use it as a handheld to receive whilst mobile, then obviously I've bought this little aerial here. I got this from eBay. It's a 7cm antenna, and I got this from about £4 or £5. So it's quite a handy little radio. The other radio itself broke and got lost, and goodness knows what else. But I've still got the cradle, so I can still use that from time to time. In fact, yeah, this is the remains of the old radio. Got quite badly broken. Not much to it, is it? Not much to these radios at all. Quite flimsy. Doesn't take much to get water damage in these, and once they're wet, that's about it. So that's that. Went to America a couple of years ago, and I came back with these Motorola's. These I'm not very impressed with. The sound quality is quite distorted. It sounds like they're almost slightly off tune with each other, so I've not really used these much. I bought these because they were supposed to be slightly better range, and with it being the Motorola style that it is, we didn't have styles like that over here, and I quite liked the fact that it looked quite a robust little handy radio, so that's why I bought it. The frequencies of these, obviously they're not PMR radios, so they can't be used over here. However, they do work on the GMRS and the FRS frequencies. So whereas the PMRs, which is the original PMRs that we use over here, these are ranging from 446 megahertz up to the top end of 446, just 4447. 446, 100. These range from 462, 550 all the way to 467, 725 megahertz. So it's a much higher frequency range. But like I say, they're not really supposed to be used over here. I tend to use this as a wireless doorbell. I keep one on voice activation mode inside the house, and when I'm in here, it'll transmit if the doorbell rings. So it's quite a handy little feature. But that's really all they're pretty much good for, to be honest with you. Range-wise, not all that amazing, and like I say, because of the frequency range, with it being UHF, my understanding of UHF is that, yeah, you can get quite good range. However, the signal itself does have problems penetrating through buildings and obstacles, so that's one of the problems with it. And with it being only sort of half a watt, it's not really pushing out that much power. And also, looking at the size of the antenna, realistically, how good are they going to be? So the next stage up from there would be to get yourself some other radios. A bit more power, that's what you need. Now the only problem is getting a license can be quite expensive. However, now there are new radios on the market, and they are the Mytex radios. Now if I just move the camera over here, these aren't Mytex, so don't worry, I'm not disillusioned in any way. I'll just change this over. Maplins do a set of radios. They do about 2 or 3 different types. They're all made by Mytex, and the general 5 watts UHF radios. If I can zoom into my thing there, let's have a look at this. I brought the website up. Those are the radios there that Maplins do. Don't know whether you can see that clearly or not. I've never used them, however I gather they are quite good, range wise and quality wise. £149 is quite expensive just for 2. They do a security pack, and they do a sport pack where you can buy them singly for like £100. So not very cheap, and not the sort of things you can all buy unless you've got that sort of money available. But the point of this is the frequencies that they use. Now the Mytex frequencies, they are 449 megahertz upwards. Channel 1 is 449.3125 megs, and channel 16, the top channel they have, is 449.4750. Now obviously within there you've got various CT, CWS codes and DCS codes as well to cut down interference. You do need a license for them though, I must add that. I am sorting out a license to use those frequencies. However, I'm not buying the radios, because those frequencies that I have listed here, I can program into these radios here. That makes it fully legal, because the power of these radios I use on either 1 watt or 5 watts, which is the same power that the Mytex radios use. So providing a license, which any day now I will be fully licensed, then there's no problems. I gave a bit of a talk the other day on one of my videos about these handhelds. Very quickly touched on them, I did. The first ones I bought were the Ruxons. Now I'm a licensed amateur radio user, and these are dual band 2 metre, 7 centimetre radios, and they work really well. They are fairly cheap, and to hold they do feel cheap, and when you talk to people you do get good feedback from them, so the quality is quite good. They're an absolute bugger to try and program though. Especially if you want to do repeater work. It's not the easiest to set up. I do have leads and the software to program these up on the computer. I just haven't got around to doing it. What I tend to use these for is to use these on back-to-back off-ham frequencies, either covering the PMR 446 or covering the 449 megahertz. And for communications, car to car, or when you go camping, holidays and such like, they're marvellous. I had 2. I'll be honest with you, the second one was a mistake. I clicked the wrong button on eBay, and I ended up with another radio that I didn't particularly want. But after saying that, they have been useful, and I do like having 2 radios, so I'm not going to complain. Then when I was exploring the possibility of these Mytex, that's when I saw these. smaller radios. Saw these on eBay. I've not seen these since, so I don't know whether you can still get these or not. I paid something like £30 each for them, and basically the single band, just the UHF, covering the 446 frequency range. Well, a bit more than 446. I think it's 430 upwards. But you can program these to PMR frequencies, the 446 megahertz, and you can also program them up to the 449. So the idea being that choosing the frequencies that you can pick up on these radios, the Mytex, I can program those frequencies into all 4 of these radios and legally have communications between 4 radios back to back with no interference and good frequency range. This came into its own a couple of weeks ago when one of our family members accidentally lost one of our dogs, and we knew roughly whereabouts the dog was. It was in one of the fields near us. Now, bearing in mind we live sort of almost out in the country in some places, we found that there's such a vast, large area to cover. It was very, very difficult, and about 6 of us were out and about. We were out on bikes and on foot through fields and bushes. We'd had positive sightings of the dog, but no one actually managed to catch it. And the first day we went out searching, we saw it, and we found it so difficult trying to phone each other up and get each other to various points to try and track the dog. It was just absolutely impossible. The next day we went back to the same location where we'd had further sightings, and we split up with the radios. Now, I don't know what distance we were apart. I know for a fact we split up about over 3 to 4 miles away from each other. So we were just across fields with a minimum amount of trees in the way, and you would never know we were that far away from each other. With the quality of these radios and the power of them, we never once lost touch with each other. We kept in communications all the way through. They worked really well. Very, very pleased with them. And I don't think there's going to be any difference at all in these radios than the Mytex radios, other than the fact that these probably aren't quite as robust. If you drop these, I don't doubt for one moment that they'd smash and never work again. You know, they are cheap. You do get what you pay for. But for legal radios to use, providing you have the licence, then they're absolutely fine. The great thing about these, again, is I've probably demonstrated these in my workshop before. SMA antennas unscrew, and I have an adapter on the PL259, there you go, which I just screw into there. So I can use this legally on handbands, and with 5 watts. 5 watts is a lot of power, and at the end of the day, if you've got a decent enough antenna, that's what really counts. That's what makes the difference, isn't it, the antenna, not just down to the power of your radio. So I have a lot of fun using these for ham. Back to back, obviously ideal. I do have these extra aerials. Ooh, where can I get them to camera shot? There you go, that's the sort of size of it. Twice as long as these, just screw in its place. These are dual band aerials. I don't think it really makes that much difference when I've been mobile with them and I've been talking to people on ham. Taking off these smaller aerials, putting these on, it's not made that much of a difference, so I prefer to stick with the smaller aerials. Accessories, well, they all take pretty much the same. I've got these little fist mics that are sort of plugged through the take. I've got 2 of these. All of these take the same sort of plug, so you can use these on any of them, and they all work fine. I've lost one of them though. I'm not sure where. Obviously, if I knew where it was, it wouldn't be lost. But they just plug into the side. Testing 1, 2. Turn that down a little bit, and there you go. It worked nicely. Are you there? Bit of interference. So, good little radios. So, to answer the question about the radios, if you spend money, and spend quite a bit of money on PMR radios, you can get some with quite good range. They've all got the same power, they've all got the same types of antenna. However, because of the quality of the circuitry inside, they do help enhance the signals, which means you do get a slightly better distance. But that's the only difference with them. And it's going to be pretty much the same with the GMRS radios. It comes down to the quality of the radio with those. Unless you want to start looking at greater range, then you need something like these. If you have a look on eBay, you can see these. Beware the Ofcom do patrol areas and do listen out for people who are using these frequencies. And if you're not licensed through either the private radio license scheme for the Mytex or through ham, you will get found and fined, and it is a hefty fine. So I would strongly suggest that you stick within the law at all times and don't even contemplate transmitting without a licence. What you don't want to do is to be upsetting people and to be giving interference to people who do pay a lot of money for licences. So don't do it unless you know what you're doing, your licence. We must not cause interference. So that's that. Just a quick video. I hope that's been of some help and some interest to you. And I shall be soon doing further videos on some other bits and bobs. But for the time being, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you soon.